want to help.
You can go.
Communicate with us.
You're free.
Enough of trying to deal with this maniac.
All we need is a little more time. We can get control of the situation.
How bad is it?
It's bad.
Look, I don't agree with them bringing you in here. I just want you to know that.
Move! Get down there. Get down there, man. Shut up. I'll kill them all. It's the way of the new world. It's the way of the new world. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Come on, man.
Hey, just relax, amigo.
Now you bringing the television cameras in here now.
Can't do that.
Why?
I don't deal with psychos. I put them away.
I'm a hero of the new world.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
Oh, you pig! I want your eyes, pig! You want to go to hell? You want to go to hell with me? Your filthy society will never get rid of people like us! It's breeding them!
Your history.
You won't do it, pig. Murder is against the law. You have to take me in, if you can. Pig. Take me in. Court is civilized.
But I'm not.
Come on, pig.
No hard feelings. I personally would have looked for a more subtle solution, but that's not your style.
No hard feelings, pal.
The story begins with a Los Angeles police officer explaining that, like many major cities, Los Angeles is experiencing a massive crime wave.
There's a burglary every 11 seconds. An armed robbery every 65 seconds. A violent crime every 25 seconds. A murder every 24 minutes. And 250 rapes a day.
Later, a biker casually walks into a 24-hour supermarket in Los Angeles. He aggressively pushes customers around for no reason. When the store clerk asks him to stop, the biker suddenly pulls out a shotgun and begins shooting inside the store, taking several customers hostage, though his motives remains unclear. Soon, the Los Angeles Police Department surrounds the supermarket.
We're willing to talk. No one wants to hurt you.
The police and a hostage negotiator attempt to talk the gunman down to convince him to stand down. However, the gunman suddenly grabs a teenage boy and claims he is free to leave, ordering him to walk toward the exit. The boy quickly makes his way to the door, believing he is about to escape. But just as he reaches it, the gunman ruthlessly shoots him in the back, killing him instantly.
Enough of trying to deal with this maniac.
All we need is a little more time. We can get control of the situation.
What control?
Realizing that the local officers cannot control the situation, the LAPD calls in Lieutenant Cobretti, a member of the Elite Zombie Squad, a special unit that deals with extremely violent criminals, to resolve the situation. However, Detective Monty openly tells Cobra that he does not support his involvement in the case.
Look, I don't agree with them bringing you in here. I just want you to know that.
Cobra ignores the criticism and walks straight into the store, immediately taking control of the situation.
Get down there. Get down there, man. I'll kill you, man. I'll kill them all.
Just relax, amigo.
During a tense negotiation, the gunman reveals that he is a member of a group called the New World, a nihilistic neo-fascist cult. He begins ranting about social Darwinism, claiming that the weak must die so a stronger society can rise. He even calls himself a hero of the New World.
I'm a hero!
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
Cobra shoots and kills him using his custom Colt Gold Cup National Match 1911 pistol. After the hostages are rescued and the gunman's body is taken away, reporters swarm him and question his aggressive tactics. One reporter asks why he used such extreme force instead of arresting the shooter so he could face a fair trial. Clearly irritated by what he sees as a foolish question, Cobra grabs the reporter and angrily tells him that instead of worrying about the killer's rights, they should go talk to the families of the victims who were just murdered. Later, Cobra returns to his apartment and finds a group of local thugs parked in his reserved parking spot. Without saying a word, Cobra simply rams their car out of the way with his own vehicle.
You touched my car, man.
What is pinche?
Yeah, see?
Me. Clean up your act.
Cobra immediately rips open his shirt, making it clear that he is still the cure for the disease of street crime. Inside his small one-room apartment, Cobra turns on the television. The news reports that a serial killer known as the Night Slasher has already murdered 16 victims in a single month.
Not much else is known other than that the Night Slasher preys upon anyone. His victims have included businessmen, Asian immigrants, the elderly, and in one case, a sexually assaulted child. The serial killer has thrown the city into a growing panic, and up until now, no one has had a clue to his identity. The killer has been known to crawl through windows, cut telephone wires, and kill the victims in their sleep. The method of death has been mainly silent instruments such as claw hammers, knives, and axes.
While the Night Slasher's killing spree continues, a dark Ford Econoline van carrying several masked members of the New World cult arrives near a small coffee shop late at night. A waitress finishes her shift and locks up the shop before walking to her car. Suddenly, the men smash her car windows with axes. In a brutal and terrifying attack, the Night Slasher and his followers murder her using sharp-bladed weapons. Later at the police station, the investigation into the waitress's murder leads to another heated argument between Cobra and Detective Monty. Cobra points out that the number of wounds on the victim and the savage nature of the attack clearly suggest that multiple attackers were involved. He believes they are dealing with an organized group rather than a single serial killer. However, Monty dismisses the theory and insists that the Night Slasher is simply a traditional lone serial killer. He orders Cobra to stay out of the investigation, saying it is not Cobra's area of expertise and that the department is not looking for heroes.
Captain, look, I don't want to be a hero. I just want to get involved, all right?
Cobra asks the captain to allow him to lead the case, but Monty again objects. He argues that Cobra belongs in the zombie squad, the unit that handles the dirtiest jobs, because his violent tactics attract too much attention from internal affairs and the press.
Because as long as we have to play by these bull rules and the killer doesn't, we're gonna lose.
That same night, a mysterious woman sets up another deadly trap. A female cult member intentionally crashes her car into another woman's vehicle. She pretends to apologize, but the apology is only a distraction. Within seconds, other cult members surround the victim and brutally murder her inside her own vehicle. Moments later, a supermodel named Ingrid Knudsen is driving home from work. As she passes the area, she accidentally witnesses the cult disposing of the body and briefly makes eye contact with the killer. Realizing she may have been seen, Ingrid quickly drives away before the group can reach her. However, the killers manage to see her license plate, marking her as their next target. When the police arrive at the scene, the captain realizes the situation is escalating rapidly and the usual police methods are failing as the number of murders continues to grow. With no better option, he finally assigns the case to Cobra and his partner Tony Gonzalez, despite Monty's continued objections.
Do what you have to do to get a lead on this maniac.
And if I find him?
Do what you do best.
Meanwhile, Ingrid calls the police and reports what she saw. She tells them she can identify the killer because she clearly saw his face. What she does not know is that one of the cult members is secretly a police officer named Nancy Stock. She intercepts Ingrid's emergency call and secretly collects her personal information, including her home address and phone number. She immediately passes this information to the Night Slasher. The cult wastes no time acting on the stolen information. The following night, as Ingrid leaves her workplace, the cult ambushes her inside a parking garage.
Please, leave me alone!
During the attack, Her photographer and a security guard who tries to help are both brutally murdered. Ingrid barely manages to hide while the killers search for her, but they're eventually forced to flee when they hear approaching police sirens. Ingrid survives the attack but is left deeply traumatized and marked for death.
I'll be back when you're finished.
I'm Sergeant Gonzalez, and that intense-looking gentleman behind you is Lieutenant Cobretti.
Later at the hospital, Cobra and Gonzalez question Ingrid about why the group might be targeting her. She explains that she witnessed the murder of an innocent woman and that there were 3 attackers. She also says she clearly saw the night slasher's face and can identify him. Cobra calls in a police sketch artist, and together they create a sketch of the night slasher.
So what do you think?
It looks a little like him.
Unfortunately, Officer Stock secretly observes the entire process. After leaving the hospital, she immediately informs the night slasher of Ingrid's location. Cobra tells Ingrid to get some rest and explains that they will soon move her to a safe house. He leaves Gonzalez behind at the hospital to guard her while he returns to his apartment to run the suspect's image through the police computer system. That same night, the night slasher decides to attack the hospital personally. While the killer storms the hospital, Cobra receives a call from Gonzalez. Gonzalez explains that he left the hospital after receiving an urgent call from headquarters asking him to report immediately. Cobra instantly realizes it is a trap, and as he prepares to return to the hospital, he is ambushed at his apartment by several members of the New World cult. Cobra manages to take out all the attackers in a brutal shootout. Realizing that Ingrid is in immediate danger, Cobra rushes to the hospital. Meanwhile, the night slasher infiltrates the hospital by killing 2 janitors and a nurse. He steals their uniforms to move freely through the building without being noticed. Armed with his custom serrated knife, the killer quietly stalks Ingrid through the hospital corridors. Ingrid eventually realizes she is being hunted, and with no one around to help her, she runs and hides inside a bathroom. The night slasher violently smashes the door open, but Ingrid manages to escape into the hallway. With no one nearby to help her, Ingrid desperately pulls a manual fire alarm to trigger the alarm. The alarm creates chaos throughout the hospital, drawing attention and forcing the killer to retreat. Cobra arrives at the hospital shortly afterward, but the night slasher has already escaped into the night. The hospital attack proves that the cult has deep connections and likely someone inside the police department helping them. However, Detective Monty still blames Cobra and accuses him of incompetence. Realizing that Ingrid is no longer safe in Los Angeles, Cobra decides they must leave the city. Despite Monty's protests, Captain Sears authorizes Cobra to take Ingrid out of Los Angeles for her protection. Cobra travels with Ingrid, Gonzalez, and Officer Stock to a safe house in the small town of San Ramo. During the night, Stock secretly contacts the night slasher and informs him of their exact location.
All right, I gotta go. Oh, God. You scared me.
When Cobra later finds her using an outside motel phone, she claims she was simply calling to check on her son and that the phone in her room is not working. Although Cobra does not fully trust her, he lets the situation go for the moment. In the dawn, the New World cult arrives in San Ramo on motorcycles and begins attacking the town. A massive shootout erupts and Cobra kills several cult members, but Gonzalez is seriously wounded. The cult sets the motel on fire and nearly kills Gonzalez, but he survives. Cobra escapes with Ingrid in a pickup truck. While escaping, they nearly crash into a burning car that blocks the road. Even during the chase, Cobra continues fighting back, using a laser-mounted submachine gun to take down several cult members. Cobra and Ingrid arrive at a large chemical factory, where Cobra finally comes face to face with the night slasher.
Let's bleed, pig! I want your eyes, pig! I want them! You want to go to hell with me?
The killer begins delivering a disturbing speech, claiming that society's laws and courts are weak and that his cult will always survive.
We are the future!
In the middle of his rant, Officer Stock suddenly arrives, but Cobra immediately shoots and kills her, finally revealing that he knew she was the traitor.
Take me in. If you can.
This is where the law stops.
Come on, pig.
The battle ends when Cobra throws the night slasher onto a massive metal hook that pierces through his body and lifts him into the air before dropping him into a vat of molten metal. After the long and bloody battle, Cobra and Ingrid walk out of the factory alive. The police captain congratulates Cobra for ending the killing spree. However, Detective Monty is still too proud to admit Cobra was right. Instead, Monty once again begins lecturing Cobra about excessive force and police procedure, only for Cobra to finally punch him in the face.
No hard feelings, pal.
Subscribe for more dramas like this, and don't forget to like this video, it really helps the channel grow.